How's it going, everybody? I am the Texas Man. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on the Texas Man channel. Also, make sure to head over to Twitch and follow me at Douglas447. Again, that's at Twitch, Douglas447, no caps and no spaces. I do some awesome uploads and streams for you guys there on my Twitch channel as well. So with that, of course, we are going to be continuing on with Stacey the Dark Secret. This is part 2. Make sure you guys will head over and watch part 1 if you guys have not. And we're going to be reading, I believe, 2 or 3 chapters. So I hope you guys all enjoy. And with that, let's roll. Chapter 2, High School Reunion. The crowd was in happiness as the bride and bridegroom were husband and wife. The after-party was full of celebration with food, drinks, games, and conversations. Stacey and I were both happy and confused that so many people from the high school were at the wedding. The reason why is because I'm hosting a high school reunion at this church tomorrow starting at 4 p.m., replied Sarah, overhearing the conversation between me and Stacey. Why tomorrow? Asked Stacey. We both thought that with everyone already in the area, to have a celebration within the same weekend would be a great idea, said Phil, looking for Sarah. Your entire family is invited, of course, said Pastor Bob, joining the conversation. We will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m., I said. Phil, Sarah, and Bob walked away and started talking with Jack Lightbody, Zach Zettel, and Devin Armstrong. Me and Stacey gathered Henry and Amy to leave the church in order to eat dinner. Where are the 4 of you going? Asked a familiar voice. The 4 of us turned around and saw Stacey's parents, Sarah and Teddy, behind them. Great to see you two again, I said, while Stacey hugged her parents. We are going to leave for dinner at Arby's. You are both welcome to join us, said Stacey. Thanks, but no thanks, said Teddy Blonde. See you tomorrow, I said. Likewise, replied Ted. Both parties walked separate ways, and the marriage celebration party ended around 10 p.m. Once at Sarah's house, they undressed and began making love. Are you sure about tomorrow? Asked Phil, after kissing Sarah. If I don't do as Mr. D says, it would be the blood on my hands for those 4 million deaths, said Sarah. So you can handle the burden of the death of just 4 people? Said Phil. I don't have a choice, said Sarah. Yes, you do. We all have a choice. You have just chosen the wrong one, said Phil. What else is there to do? Asked Sarah. Phil was silent after Sarah spoke because he knew that his wife already knew the answer. Find out why Mr. D's reasoning for the deaths. The next day came about and rushed quickly to 4 p.m. Stacey, Henry, Amy, and I entered Cornerstone Baptist Church's front glass doors and was greeted by Phil Abbey, Sarah Abbey, Zach Zettel, Jack Lightbody, and Stacey's parents. Where is everyone? I asked. I'm not sure. They all got the memo months ago, said Phil. Is everything okay? Asked Pastor Bob, about to leave the church and go home. Sort of, said Phil. What's wrong? Asked the pastor. We invited about 150 people. However, there's just the 10 of us, replied Phil. Suddenly, something zipped past Phil's backside, and everyone, besides Phil, saw it. What is it? Asked Phil, seeing everyone's strange impressions. There is something else in this gathering space, said Stacey. More like this entire church, which I knew gave me the creeps for a reason, said Henry. Everything new to you gives you the creeps, replied Amy. Silence, I said. Everyone, be calm. It's probably just a janitor, said Pastor Bob. I doubt it. Janitors are not sneaky, said Teddy. Look! Exclaimed Jack. The group of 11 looked to see the strangest thing possible, a purple ball at the ceiling. It's time, said Sarah Abbey. What are you talking about? I asked. I'm sorry to tell you all, but it was 4 of us or 4,000, said Sarah Abbey. What do you mean? Asked Stacey. Suddenly, the purple ball dropped to the carpet floor like a bomb and disappeared. Then, a giant bunny appeared out of nowhere and knocked Phil, Sarah, Zach, Bobby, and Jack out with its powerful fists to the floor. The bunny teleported in front of Henry and Amy, which were running to the offices. The creature smashed the siblings' heads heads together. Their minds went unconscious, and the bodies collapsed to the ground. The bunny teleported again and quickly grabbed hold of Stacey. Just before the bunny could teleport again, Stacey's parents started to punch the bunny in the gut, but it did nothing. "Fools," said the bunny. The stranger created 2 purple-colored psychic energy balls, tossed them at Teddy and Sarah, and burned a hole in their chests. "No!" yelled Stacey, watching her parents' bodies fall to the ground dead. I quickly gathered my courage and strength and punched the murderer in the back. In a matter of seconds, the bunny's back began melting. "What did you do?" asked the bunny. "I gave you a taste of my medicine," I replied, not really knowing what I did. The bunny let go of Stacey and looked at Sarah Abby, which was waking up. "You're too easily fooled, Mrs. Abby. I will return and finish my mission. 2 died, but only 1 needs to," said the bunny. "When you return, we'll be ready, Mr. D," answered Sarah. Mr. D vanished using his teleporting powers, while everyone regained their heads and realized Stacey's parents were dead. I have a lot of questions that need answering. Let's head to my parents' place and talk," I said, looking at Sarah Abby. Everyone worked together to place the corpses in the outside trash bin, because they had no time to bury them or explain how they died. Next, the group drove to my parents' house and saw an unthinkable sight. Chapter 3. The Impossible News. As David and Deborah placed a heavy body bag on the side of the house, Devin broke the sad news to all of us. A strange-looking bunny killed Dieter. "How?" asked Douglas in an angry tone. "This bunny slammed the 3 of us out cold and killed him with a kitchen knife," answered Devin. "Why Stacey's dog?" I asked. "Because of Mr. D's mission," said Sarah. The group of 12 looked at Sarah and wondered how she knew so much about the bunny murderer. Everyone inside. "We have a lot to talk about," I said, as Stacey was crying for Dieter's death. The group, including Pastor Bob, sat down in the living room of my parents' house and stared at Sarah. "Sarah, you better start talking about what you know about this bunny," I said, in a firm tone. "I had no idea it was going to be this way," said Sarah. "Define it," said Stacey, with no more tears and in an angry tone. "The bunny's name is Mr. D, and I thought he was my friend, but now I know better," said Sarah. Go on, Sarah. Tell them all of it," said Phil. "Mr. D came to me while Phil told you, Douglas, about the wedding, and gave me a task," said Sarah. "What task?" I asked. "I had to host a high school reunion the day after my wedding, so 4 people could die instead of 4 million, said Sarah. "You knew this would happen?" asked Devin. "Sarah and I both knew, yet we didn't know he would be the one to kill them, or that his targets would be at the reunion," said Phil. "He did say to make sure you were there," said Sarah, looking at Stacey. That's right, and only he seemed interested in taking Stacey. We were all just in his way. Killing was not his mission, but Stacey was," said Phil. "Why me? And why kill my parents and dog?" asked Stacey. "Why you is unclear, but he killed Teddy, Sarah, and Dieter as an emotional trigger to get you to see him again," said Zach, a science professor. "Well, all this news, which to most would be considered crazy and impossible, isn't good. However, we have all seen Mr. D, and we know he can teleport and kill us," I said. "So what do we do next, Dad?" asked Amy. "We know Mr. D wants Stacey, for some reason, and he will do whatever must be done to have her. So, we're going to let him," I said. "What?" asked Stacey. "We will let him take you, and then we will kill him with my hands. Somehow I can burn him, and that might kill this murderer tonight in this house," I said. Everyone ate dinner, talked the plan, and went to sleep in my parents' house at 11 p.m. Chapter 4. Killing a Murderer. As the night continued on and on, the time as the clocks in my house turned to midnight. My parents were sleeping in their room, my friends and the pastor were asleep on the basement sofas, and my wife and children were knocked out in my old room. I was the oddball of the group and slept standing up, in preparation for Mr. D to take Stacey. Eventually I could no longer stay awake and slowly laid down on the carpet floor into a deep sleep at 4 a.m. A few seconds later, Stacey awoke suddenly from my old bed. She looked at Henry and Amy, which were sleeping on a blow-up mattress, and smiled. Then my wife looked at me, passed out in the doorway, in and out of the room. "Good morning," said a voice. Stacey quickly rushed her eyes to my old closet to see Mr. D standing there. "Mr. D, what do you want?" asked Stacey. "Don't play dumb, Stacey. You know why I'm here, who sent me, and what the result will be when my mission is completed," said Mr. D. Suddenly I awoke and looked to see the conversation occurring. I quickly grabbed hold of Mr. D and threw him at the bedroom window. Because of the loud impact, everyone in the house awoke and came to the room and saw Mr. D without being attacked. "You really think your family and friends can kill or trap me?" asked Mr. D to Stacey. "You are fools. My name is not Mr. D. It is Darko," said the murderer. "You killed my wife's parents and her favorite dog." "Why?" I said. Darko looked at Stacey and gave her a wink. "I can tell you have powers, Douglas. Yes, I know your name and everyone else close to Stacey. Your wife has a dark secret to tell, so I'll return very soon to allow her to tell you the truth," said Darko. "Why do you want this secret to be told before you take Stacey?" I asked. I may be a murderer, but I do have some morals," said Darko. Darko teleported and left behind the burnt hair from Douglas's power, which seconds later turned to ash. Everyone was very upset that the plan failed to kill Darko and instead left more questions needing answers. "Stacey, I heard everything Darko said to you when he appeared in this room," I said. "Really?" asked Deborah. "How?" asked Amy. "I was faking my tiredness. I've been drinking 5-hour energy drinks all night long," I replied. "Son, we need a better plan. But before we plan anything else, I have something to share with you," said Dave, holding an old and familiar envelope. Chapter 5. The Dark Secret Revealed. "That envelope looks very familiar," said Stacey. "It is because it is the envelope that you gave to me back in 9th grade," I said. "How does your dad have it?" asked Henry, wanting to know more about my past. "I gave it to him and then opened it my senior year to learn your mother had an unknown and deadly cancer," I answered. "Is that all you allowed him to read, Mr. Armstrong?" asked Stacey. "I believed you would have told the whole truth before marrying him," replied David. "Stop!" I yelled. Everyone looked at me with a confused face. "What in the world is going on? Why do you have an envelope still, Dad? Why does our enemy that I'm protecting us from know more than me? What's Darko's mission? Why does he want only you, honey?" I asked in a firm, confused, and sad tone. "Do you really want me to reveal my dark secret?" asked Stacey. "Yes," I replied. Stacey took the envelope that contained another mystery from my father in his wheelchair and opened it. My wife pulled out a ripped piece of paper out of the envelope and gave it to me. "Please read it out loud," said Stacey. I opened the folded piece of paper and began to read it. The paper read like this: "Dear Douglas, I love you. I love you with all my heart, mind, soul, and body, but it can't ever work. I was not always the way you see me now. I once was a demon. I turned against my evil nature and was cursed with this deadly cancer as a result of becoming human, because I fell in love with you at first sight. I have the proof my father and brother are responsible for the cancer. I love you greatly, but Satan and Darko will never stop to kill me even if you cure my cancer. If you do, Darko will personally kill me, you, and everyone else close to us," I said, reading the paper. And that's going to do it for me, guys. This has been part 2 of Stacey the Dark Secret. Look forward to part 3 coming out in the very near future. You guys all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.